So for the past 30 days, I've been testing an ultra portable laptop that really, quite frankly, has been everything as expected and maybe even a little bit more. I've been using the Lenovo IdeaPad, or otherwise known as the Yoga Slim 7 Carbon, with its 14-inch OLED display. Now that display is absolutely gorgeous. It's a 90 Hertz refresh rate. It also is a touch display, which is really convenient. And it also has the Ryzen 7 5800U paired with integrated Radeon graphics, but there is available right now over at Lenovo's website a SKU that has a discrete GPU, the MX450. Now I've been putting it through its paces for the past 30 days, and this is my review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 7 Carbon with its 14-inch OLED display. Coming up.
Now, for those that didn't see my unboxing and first look review, here is a breakdown of some of the specs that we're going to go over today in terms of the review. AMD Ryzen 7 5800U processor with integrated Radeon graphics, 16 gigabytes of LPDDR4X dual channel RAM that's soldered in. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And you can configure this with up to 1 terabyte of M.2 PCIe Gen 3 SSD storage, and it packs a 61 watt-hour 4-cell lithium-ion battery. Now, before we get to the device, I want to let everybody know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, that I'm not being paid by Lenovo. I'm not being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Lenovo is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this review unit is on loan from Lenovo, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, I just went over to Lenovo's website, and the one with the MX450 is actually available here in the US, ready to ship on February 22nd, so it's in stock. If you're interested in this laptop with a discrete GPU, the MX450, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy it. Now, what we're looking at here is an all-metal build with excellent build quality. In fact, it has a tough carbon fiber reinforced chassis, and it's really worked out well the last 30 days. Now at 1.1 kilograms or 2.42 pounds, very portable to take with you on the go. And that's great. All right, let's talk about the ports. Not a lot of them here. We're going to start off on the left side where you get a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port that supports DisplayPort 1.4 and Power Delivery 3.0. Next to that is a second USB-C port. It's a 3.2 Gen 1 port, not Gen 2 like that first port. And next to that is a 3.5 millimeter headphone microphone combo jack. Now, moving over to the right side is a third USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, and next to that is your kill switch for the webcam, and finally you get a power button with an LED indicator light in it, letting you know the device is powered on. Notably missing, there's no SD card reader, there's no HDMI port, there's no USB-A port. Now, they do give you a dongle in the box that includes a USB-A, an HDMI port, and a VGA port, but no SD card reader. Okay, let's talk about the performance, and this is running the AMD Ryzen 7 5800U mobile processor from AMD with integrated Radeon graphics. And as you can see from these numbers, this is a very capable ultra portable, doing things such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, spreadsheets, Photoshop, all kinds of Word documents. You're not going to have any issues with this. It performed really well. It's a great media consumption device, especially with that beautiful 14-inch OLED display. Now, more graphics intensive stuff such as gaming, you definitely could do it if you lower some of the settings. You can get some playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles, but this is by no means a gaming laptop per se. You can play the occasional game here and there, but don't expect to play AAA titles on the highest settings. Now, when I ran the Prime 95 stress test to see if this will throttle under heavy load, I noticed that it would turbo boost to 4.291 gigahertz and maintain a temperature of around 88 degrees. So it would max out to about that temperature, and then it would drop down to anywhere between 75 to 77 degrees, and the clocks would reduce to about 2.3 to 2.4 gigahertz. So you will notice a little bit of throttling, not too unexpected with an ultra portable with this small chassis. Now, the surface temperature temperatures never get overly hot. As you can see here, a little bit by the keyboard, the upper part of the keyboard, you'll notice where the exhausts are. That's where it gets a little bit hot, but never too hot to the touch. The underside never got overly hot either, so you can use it on your lap. So they think they did a pretty good job. And the fans were relatively quiet as well. When they did ramp up, you will notice them, again, not overly loud, which is pretty good. So I would think this is a pretty good laptop when it comes to the thermals, not too much throttling, and never gets overly hot. And speaking of those fans under heavy load, let's give it a listen. Okay, let's talk battery life, and what this has is a 4-cell 61 watt-hour battery, and it did 10 hours and 7 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. So in real-world mixed usage, you can expect anywhere for about 7 to 8 hours, again, depending on what you're doing. Everybody's mileage may vary, so please bear that in mind. But as far as other 14-inch laptops, you might do a little bit better, but remember, this has an OLED display, which traditionally do not do as well as IPS displays, but for an OLED display, this is actually pretty good in terms of the battery life. Now, one thing to note, this result is with the 90 Hz refresh rate enabled, but if you go into the display settings and lower it to 60 Hz, expect another hour to 2 hours more in terms of battery life. And when you find yourself needing to plug in, they do supply you with a 65-watt power adapter, a USB-C power adapter. It's pretty compact. It takes about an hour and a half to give you a full charge. That's pretty good. Now, to get inside this laptop for any upgradeability, you're going to need to remove the T5 Torx screws, use a guitar pick or a pry tool, work your way around the edges, and pry off the bottom plate. Not too hard, pretty good. And once you're inside, you'll notice that there is an SSD. You can upgrade that. It's an M.2 PCIe Gen 3 SSD. And as you can see from these reads and writes, pretty good numbers, pretty fast. You're not going to have any issues with it. Although we are in early 2022, we've been seeing PCIe Gen 4, which have about double those speeds. But for these speeds, these are actually pretty good. Now, unfortunately, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard. That means you as the user cannot upgrade it yourself. You can configure this with up to 16 gigabytes of LPDDR4X RAM running in dual channel mode. So as far as any upgradeability, you can forget about that. Kind of wish there was a 32 gigabyte option. I'm not sure if there is, but this, according to Lenovo's press material, can upgrade up to 16 gigabytes. And it has a Wi-Fi 6 Bluetooth 5 combo card that's slotted in. That means if you need to upgrade it later on, you have that option. And the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth worked as advertised. I've had no issues, both working very well. Now, my favorite part of this laptop over the past 30 days, as I've been using it pretty much as my main laptop, has been its gorgeous 14-inch OLED display. It has a resolution of 2880 by 1800. And yes, that is a 16:10 aspect ratio. That means you're going to do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. You're going to see more on the display. And it has a 90 Hz refresh rate. So that means you're going to get that really fluid experience, the smooth scrolling, the really smooth gameplay. That is exactly what you want out of an OLED display. There's no doubt about it. But of course, running the display at 90 Hz means you're going to do less in terms of battery life. If you want better battery life, switch it to 60 Hz. And I'm absolutely loving the touch display on this panel. It really is very responsive, and I love being able to navigate through the OS. And it has all the hallmarks of an OLED display. We're talking the really deep blacks, the super vibrant colors, the extreme high contrast that makes the images just pop off the display. I'm absolutely loving it. Now, as far as the color accuracy, it's got a 0.80 Delta E score, so that's going to mean that this is a color accurate display. Anything below 2 means it's color accurate, so that's good in that regard. And it has good coverage of the color gamut. In fact, it's excellent. 100% sRGB, 100% Adobe RGB, 94% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, and 95% NTSC. So what does that mean? Well, if you're a content creator, this is going to be excellent for color grading, Lightroom, Photoshop, and of course, video editing. So if you're that content creator, this is a panel you want to look at. And it's a bright display. Now, Lenovo claims that this will get as bright as 400 nits. I actually measured a little bit above that, 403 nits. But one thing to note, it is a glossy display, so you will notice some glare and reflections in certain lighting conditions, something to be aware of. I did a live stream on this, and William Cohen asked, does it support the pen? No, it doesn't. Now, despite the fact that it does have a Yoga moniker outside North America, it doesn't mean it's a convertible. I know it's confusing, but that's just the way it is. So this is the front-facing camera, 720p webcam of the Lenovo IdeaPad or Yoga, depending where you are, Slim 7 Carbon. It's got that OLED display. 720p webcam, as I mentioned, 30 frames per second. What do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality of the internal mics? Couple of things to note. This is an infrared camera. That means you can log in with face recognition with Windows Hello, so that's good. Is it good for your Zoom needs? Is it good for your hybrid work needs as we're working from home part-time, some of us? Let me know in that comment section below. And I love the inclusion of a kill switch on the side, as you see here, that allows you to turn off the webcam, giving you more security and privacy. Now, there is that reverse notch on the top of the lid, which allows you to open this laptop up with one finger, and you can go far back as 180 degrees, as you see here. The hinges are really sturdy and allows really good viewing angles each and every time. Good in that regard. And when it comes to the keyboard, I actually really do like it. It has those very familiar smile-shaped keys we know from Lenovo's Yoga and IdeaPad line. Here it's no exception, and it worked really well. I thought the tactile feedback was very good. I thought the key travel was good. I'm very happy with this. Now, normally with ultra portables, we don't get pretty good key travel. That's not the case here with this laptop. It's actually been pretty good. I've been using it for the past 30 days, and for the long haul, it's been really good, comfortable to type on for extended periods of time. Now, if I do have a nitpick, it's the fact that the keyboard backlight lights up white against these silver keys, sometimes hard to see the contrast between the two. Now, it does have a glass precision touchpad. I thought the sizing was very good, pretty spacious, and very responsive. Two-finger scrolling was very smooth, and all the gestures work as you'd expect. And another area that I'm super impressed with is its 4 speakers. They're Dolby Atmos speakers, so you're going to get that enhanced spatial audio that Dolby Atmos brings. I thought the volume was good. I thought the mids were decent, and there was some bass. Not something we normally see on these thin, ultra-portable laptops. That's not the case here. It can fill up a room rather nicely. I think Lenovo did an excellent job with these quad speakers. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 7 Carbon OLED here in early 2022? And I gotta say, they've actually hit a home run with this one. I'm loving this laptop. Using it for the past 30 days has been nothing but a pleasure. I have to really say that. Now, as far as the display, it's a bright, sharp 14-inch OLED display. Love the fact that it's a touch display. Love the fact that it has a high refresh rate, 90 hertz. I love the fact that this is such a thin and light and stylish laptop that's easy to take with you on the go, and I think they have accomplished that with this design. I like the fact that you can upgrade the SSD and the Wi-Fi, and I also like the fact that it has a very comfortable keyboard and touchpad. I thought they worked really well. And I love the pricing on this, coming in at a very affordable price compared to some of its competition. You get a lot of bang for your buck. There is a SKU with the optional graphics card, the MX450, and that's available right now over at Lenovo's website here in the US. The things I'm not crazy about, of course, is the fact that the RAM is not upgradable by the user. There's no 4K option, although this 2.8K, 14-inch, 90 hertz display is absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't really need it, but some people might want a 4K option. I don't think you need to go with that. And then, of course, a 720p webcam here in 2022. Not the best. We'd like to see 1080p or higher. And it does have some bloatware, including McAfee, and I wish Lenovo would get rid of that crapware. I'm really tired of having to uninstall it each and every time I get a laptop. But this has been nothing but a pleasure to use for the past 30 days. I highly recommend the Lenovo Yoga or IdeaPad Slim 7 Carbon OLED here in early 2022. Definitely making it worth your money.
So what do you think about this bad boy? The Slim 7 Carbon OLED, absolutely gorgeous. This a silver finish, or the cloud gray finish, I should say. Doesn't show too many fingerprints, so really good in that regard. Last 30 days, really holding up well. Rock solid build quality, very little flex or if any give in the chassis. It's been fantastic. It's got a carbon fiber reinforced chassis that I think has been really durable. It's a military grade rating on this. Again, takes a licking and keeps on ticking. The Ryzen 7 5800U has performed as expected. We've seen this chipset before, tried and true. Integrated Radeon graphics on this model, but you can go over to Lenovo's website right now and get one with a discrete GPU, that is the MX450 from NVIDIA, and that will give you a little bit more graphics horsepower for those that need it. But quite frankly, for everyday use as an ultra portable, this has held up really well. Really good thermals, not too loud in terms of the fans, really good performance in that regard. Doesn't get overly hot in terms of the exterior on the surface temperatures, as I showed you. So you can use it in your lap, even under heavy load. It's not too bad. As far as the display, and that to me is the star of the show, 14 inches, touchscreen OLED, 90 hertz, 2.8K resolution. That's 2880 by 1800, 16:10 aspect ratio. Absolutely great coverage of the color gamut. So if you're a content creator, you'll want to look at this one. Really good coverage, good color, great color accuracy, I should say. Excellent contrast, everything you expect with an OLED display. It's here, the deep blacks, the vibrant colors. It's all here. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to focus on this segment is because it is a mid-tier laptop with some pretty premium specs. You don't normally find a 14-inch OLED display in a laptop of this category, in this price range. You don't normally see such a good display in terms of the coverage of the color gamut, in terms of the color accuracy. But that's what you get here, and I like what Lenovo's doing in this segment. I love the fact that you're getting an all-metal build. It's a carbon fiber reinforced chassis. It weighs very little in terms of taking it with you on the go, less than 3 pounds. In fact, I think it's like 2.4 pounds or 1.1 kilograms or something to that effect, but very, very portable, easy to take with you on the go. There's no complaints in that regard. It competes with the likes of the Dell XPS 139310, which I think might have a little bit more premium feel to it, but not much more. And again, if you're gonna go with that OLED on that one, it's going to be a great display, but the display accuracy and the color gamut is better actually on this Lenovo laptop. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Lenovo has in store this year. I'm looking forward to seeing what Dell has with their follow-up, of course. We'll talk about that soon in terms of that XPS line. But getting back to this one, a mid-tier laptop with not such a premium price, but with premium specs and build. You can't go wrong. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.